Thanks for joining us for another episode.
We're excited to let you know that our game Steam Court will be coming to the Kickstarters almost immediately.
So keep paying attention to our social medias for the announcement.
Today we're going to look at the game Time Stories, and we're going to try to keep it pretty spoiler-free for you.
But here's one spoiler. We're actually working on our own scenario for Time Stories, and we're looking for a very limited number of playtesters to try it out for us.
If you'd be interested in doing that, send us a note through our website at tantrumhouse.com.
But now let's jump into our terrible
2-minute review. So just to start, I'm pretty pumped about this. Time Stories is a 2 to 4 player cooperative game from Space Cowboys and Asmodee.
Players take the role of time agents working for the Time Consortium, whose interests are the preservation of humanity and its past, present, and future.
Each scenario starts with the players being briefed at the base, and this is where they learn about the objective of the game and the basic setting and scenario. Every time you play it, you'll use the same components for the game, but they'll be different things. So you might have used the blue tokens for bullets in the last round, but in this one you're using them to represent oxygen.
After being briefed, each player chooses a receptacle. This is the character whose body they will inhabit in the time they are traveling to.
Think Quantum Leap.
Then you will enter a location, and once a location is entered, one player takes the role of leader, reads the card A, and each player then chooses which other card they want to travel to in that location.
So they put their marker on the spot, and then they take the card and read it to themselves. They're allowed to telepathically communicate with their team members, meaning they can share what they read, but they're not allowed to read the card to them.
Depending on what the card shows, players may gain new items or resources, battle enemies, find clues, or unlock new locations.
Players have to make wise decisions because everything that they do costs them a unit on the time track. Every time they make a decision, it costs them, every time they do an action, it costs them 1 time unit, and they have to roll and actually pay in time whenever they switch between locations.
When they run out of time units on the time track, they get sucked back to home base and have to start over.
This isn't necessarily a horrible thing because now you have a lot more information to work from, but you have to work to remember what this card did to unlock that room, to give you this object. It's a big memory game at that point.
When they do finally complete the main objective, players are then scored based on how many runs it took them to complete it and how many time units they have left.
That basically covers how the Time Stories base game works. You'll have to tune in for a future episode to find out what we think of a specific scenario. Go and tell us what you think about the mechanic, though, for Time Stories.
I loved choose your own adventure games growing up.
Didn't
and this
we all?
really hits me in the sweet spot for that. It does take a little bit of tuning of the player, or you might find yourself, dancing around a plunger like I did. But once you get the hang of making the sense of what your role is, the game really takes off. I really like what they did here. Theme.
So I think the theme is probably the best part of the whole game. You're in this super cool, futuristic time travel agency, and then each scenario you play, you're getting sent out to some other cool time and place and zone. We've played 3 scenarios so far. All the artwork has been phenomenal. The storyline has been really cool. Even if I've kind of liked one more than the other, I would say that all of them have been knocked out of the park. I mean, just nailing the theme on it. Replayability.
0, I guess. I mean, you do replay it several times until you finally finish the game.
It takes you about 3 hours. We should mention that.
But once you've completed it, the game doesn't really allow for replayability because just the nature of the thing. You've completed it, you know how to get the objectives accomplished, and you've been down that path. However, it is fun to share with others, so if you are into game mastering games, you'll probably enjoy game mastering this for somebody else and just seeing how they go about doing things. Also, this game opens itself up to just have tons of expansions, the different scenarios that they're coming out with, and we're trying to come out with one ourselves to submit, so that's pretty cool too. Enjoyability.
So 2 thumbs up on enjoyability. I mean, just right up front, it's cooperative, you're like solving puzzles, there's dice rolling, there's deduction, it's social, everybody's working at the same time. I enjoy it. It's a super fun game. Tantrum House gives Time Stories 2 big thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
Enjoyability. I really like something else about it that I should probably talk about at this point. I was trying to remember all the random stuff.